Today I'm going to do something I haven't done in a very long time, a number of years. It involves some very potent alcohol. And by potent I mean 99.8% pure alcohol. So this is pretty serious stuff. It's the second most used liquid on the planet other than water. It's in pretty much everything you can think of. It's in most cleaning products, pretty much every cleaning product. It has multiple uses. It's basically a cleaning agent. It's also incredibly flammable, and you need to be careful when using it. But why am I using it? Well, whilst I was over in Ireland, my gran pointed out that some of her photos have come a bit faded over the years whilst they've been sat in the sun. Some a lot more than others. This is the original. This is what it used to look like. This is now what it looks like. So it's pretty poor. And another one. Now, I used to do photo restoration at a previous job of mine, and one of the things that we do is using this IPA, essentially is what it is. You clean the photos before you scan them in. I'm going to go through the whole scanning process as well and try and fix them in Photoshop. I don't know how well it will do it. I'll be able to do it because they are so faded, but I might as well give it a go. I'm going to give it a go anyway. It's been a long time since I've done it, so fingers crossed this becomes quite good. Here we go. Alright, so first off, just going to clear some space on the old desk here, because this stuff does tend to go everywhere. So, quite simply, put the photo down of your choice. Then we get some cotton wool. Just like so. Move this over to one side. We grab the alcohol. This is quite easily bought over the internet. You can buy it at pharmacists, but they need to be registered or licensed to hold it. This stuff you can get quite easily just over the internet, no problems at all. Alright, so we just dab a little bit on here. Now it does evaporate quite quickly, so you need to always seal up your bottle. And bring the photo in and just simply rub the cotton wool over the surface of the photo, just like so. I feel like I should be Blue Peter and say, here's one I prepared earlier, but I didn't, so there we are. So it just takes all any dirt that might have been on it that you can't see, just micro dust and stuff like that, so you don't have to put it through Photoshop and do a dust layer removal afterwards. This is quite a clean print, as you can see, because there's no dirt on the cotton wool, but it doesn't hurt just to give these things a little bit of a wipe. Here we go, and again might need to put just a dab more on this one. It doesn't need too much. You won't, unless you drown it in this stuff, you're not going to damage the print or the photo. However, or because it does evaporate, it's basically pure alcohol, so it evaporates almost immediately. There we go. See, just a little bit of dirt coming in there now. And now, just do this last one. Now this isn't going to restore any photos just by doing this magically all by itself. You do need to have a scanner and Photoshop. Now, preferably, I suppose any editing software, but Photoshop is the best one to do it with. Preferably you need a good scanner. There we are, and I'll explain why later on. So there we are, I've got those all cleaned up. Move those to one side. I do highly recommend using this in a well ventilated area. Although it does evaporate almost instantaneously, it's still quite powerful, still overwhelming. You could inhale too many of the fumes and become either high or become quite ill from a result of it. Do not ingest, obviously, and do not try this at home, but it's a little bit of fun that I used to have. Just pour a little bit on the desk here, and I am the Lord of Hellfire, and I bring you fire. Ba-da-ba. Beautiful, isn't it? And it won't damage the surface of the laminated worktop. You can see, well, you probably can't see it, but it does shrink up as it's burnt away there. And there we go. See, good as new. Obviously this doesn't mean that you can just put it onto your skin, because it will still burn your skin and all the hairs and little bits and pieces that you can't see. But see, just give it a wipe down, just make sure there's no residue left anywhere, so there's no accidental little fires. And as you can see, it is as if nothing ever happened. Just a bit of fun, really. But like I say, do be careful with this stuff because it can get easily out of control. Okay, so I'm just opening up the scanner. I've put one of the prints in, which you can probably hear in the background. Now, there are several options for scanning in documents as a whole, but especially with photos. If you know anything about dots per inch, you might not be interested to hear about this, but dots per inch is a numerical figure set for printing, if you're unaware. Traditionally, 300 dpi is a good base for, it's a good number to print anything at, especially if you're wanting a like-for-like comparison. So say you've got an A4, say you want to replicate another A4 print, you scan it in at 300 dpi and you can print the same good quality back out at A4 size. Now if you wanted to double the size of an A4 print, I don't know what those numbers are off the top of my head, but you do 2 times the magnification. So instead of it being 300 dpi, you do 600 dpi. If you want it 3 times, you do 1200, and so on and so forth. The bigger the scan, or the bigger the DPI, the bigger print quality you can get out of an image. And that's very good if you're wanting to enlarge a print. You essentially say your image is 2 inches wide and you want it to be 8 inches wide, then you do the magnification. The maths would be 300 dpi times 4, which will give you, I think it's 2400 there, or 1800. My maths isn't very good. 3, 6, 9, 12. We'll say it's 1200 dpi. And that will give you a rough, then you can print within good knowledge that photo 4 times larger than what the original was. So that's a rough way of gauging what you should do. Otherwise, not sure what it is these days, but especially a number of years ago, if you were to put an image up on the internet, it would instantly reduce the web quality down to 72 dots per inch. I think it is still the same, but that is why usually, if and when you ever used to steal photos off the internet, it would always look worse quality than what the web page showed you. Or if you went to then print out that image, it's because there's such a loss of quality that you can't do a decent replica. Here's what I was talking about here, the DPI. My scanner unfortunately will only go up to 600 DPI, which isn't very good for a scanner particularly, but never mind. But I only want it to be the same sort of image because it's going back into the photo frame in which I took it from, so 300 dpi is more than satisfactory for what I need. Now the original colour, the original print was in colour. If it's in black and white, or you want to make it black and white, you can scan it in at grayscale, but I don't want that, and if I do, I can always change it later if it's in colour. If you scan it in grayscale, you cannot go back to colour because there's no colour to come from. Okay, so I'm just setting up my preferences here. So I want a photo colour in auto scan, so it scans it at the same size in which it is at 300 dots per inch, and just telling it where I want it to be saved. So I click OK, that's the settings, and then I hit photo. So it's going to just scan, do its job now. Okay, and that is now our scanned image. It is the wrong way round, but it doesn't matter, I can easily fix that in Photoshop later. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the other prints, and then I'll come back to you with the Photoshop. So I haven't filmed the actual process of photoshopping because it's been a long time since I've done this, and I've never done full colour correction on something that's so badly faded. So I wanted to give it a go by myself and then show you the results, which is what I'm going to do now. So this is what was scanned in, the original, and this is what I've made so far, which I think you'll agree is quite a significant difference. It still needs some work done. There's no huge rush on this project at the minute for myself, but it goes to show what can be achieved and what detail is still left in an image, even so many years after it was taken. And the power of Photoshop. I'm sure it can be done better. I'm sure there are much better people out there than me doing this. In fact, I know there are, but I'm quite happy with what I've achieved thus far without much real knowledge on the subject. This is the original. This is what I've made it so far. Still work to do. There's quite a lot of damage around the image. I'm not sure where that's come from because it's been set behind a glass for some time, but again, you get a good idea of what can be done with a bit of hard work and patience. Okay, so hopefully you learned something today. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you weren't interested. I don't know. Let me know if you were, if you want to see similar sort of videos. It's not really what I'm going to be doing, how-to videos, but if and when I feel like there's a need to, then I shall. Just to recap on what I was saying earlier. So minimum print quality is 300 dpi. That's, yeah, basically what I've just written there. Minimum print quality for the size of a replication. It's also the minimum DPI you need to set to print any photo if you want good quality. 72 dots per inch is what the internet scales it down to. If you want to enlarge a photo, say it's 2 inches big, the photo that is, of course. 2 inches big, you want to go to 4 inches, that's a 2 times magnification. So your original image is already 300 dpi, you want to get it the same magnification, so times it by 2, you need to scan it in at 600 dots per inch. And just remember, the bigger the DPI, the bigger the print replication, reproduction even, can be, or will be. Sort of straightforward. You just got to do some measuring with a ruler, do a quick sum, that quick sum, and you're good to go, really. Not much else has happened today. I've organised a few more things for Wednesday when I'm helping my brother move flat. I have been in talks again with a few people about China and what we're going to do. We've been looking at prices and found out some more interesting stuff, like different regions have different laws for visas. So Beijing is only 3 days, Shanghai is 6 days, whatever 144 hours works out to be. Other regions you have to just have the visa, etc, etc, etc. So it's been a learning curve, and we're looking at different countries to try and travel to as well to keep costs down, which seems a bit of a backward idea, but there we go. More update on that later, I hope. I'm going to end today's one here. Again, hopefully I don't have to make another additional video on the end of this like I keep having to do. I've obviously not been using my lenses today, so I hope just to help me have some sort of quick and easy consistency without having to just sit down and work out what the issue is at the minute. I haven't really got time. And hopefully I will be doing this another episode 15, tomorrow. Been holding off doing this, but if you do like what you see, do like the video please, it does help, and also subscribe if you want to see more, if you find this interesting. for whatever reason, please do subscribe, and bye.